Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 7 of the Feed Your Soul podcast. And I'm super excited to have my friend, that radio guy, Brian Martin, here joining me today. Thanks for joining me, Brian.
I'm so excited to be here. I didn't know we were going to be filmed. I would have done my makeup.
Oh, that's okay. You're still beautiful.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And I did get a free shrug.
Yeah.
Yes. So good. Well, just like that, we're going to warm up before we get going in the conversation. Is that okay?
We're exercising?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, what we're doing something that's called a soul second. And what it is...
Okay, I like this.
Yeah, is like you just sit on the chair and you just get your heart rate going. All right? We're going to do a little dance.
Are you...
So good. Thank you, Brian. Isn't that awesome?
Is that it?
That is it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, no, there's more. I thought it was...
You know what? This is just the 30-second Feed Your Soul podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Wow.
And that's a wrap.
Much easier than I was expecting.
Oh my God. You know what's so funny is every time I say to people like, okay, before we get started, it's like a little bit of terror in their eyes. But I'm like, no, it's okay. It's just a chair dance.
If I had to really dance, that would be terror.
But no. You did really dance with me, Brian.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Stars, Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. Do you remember what year that was?
No, I don't. 2016?
I think so. Actually, no, I think it was 2016. I thought it was 2018, but then I kind of was looking back at what we did, and yeah, it was 2016.
I was in the best shape of my life.
Oh God, you were. And you know what? You could Running Man like nobody's business.
Took me 6 months to learn it.
I know, it was
Learned
really
it the day
best.
before.
We had so much fun. So Brian asked me to do Dancing with the Stars, and yeah, I loved it, Brian. I loved dancing.
It was
with
a
you.
fun experience.
It was.
And you learn about people because we were just having fun,
Yeah.
and then it was like a week before, and we saw all the other dancers, and then you suddenly turned to me and you went, "We need to get a lot better. This is a competition. You're not taking this seriously enough." And we did. We brought it. We brought up our game, and we should have won.
Maybe it's because we're kind of performers, in a way, which we were just talking about that just before we started taping, is that, you know, what it's like kind of getting up in front of somebody and like turning on like a performer mode that you think you have or that you think you don't have, but you actually do have.
Yeah.
Right? So that must kind of be, do you feel like that too when you're on the radio?
I think so. It's weird being on the radio because oftentimes I don't even really know what's going to come out.
Yeah.
We don't script anything.
Yeah, which
you know?
I think is great.
It's just talking, like we're doing here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So oftentimes after the show is over, somebody will say, "Oh, that was hilarious what you said." And I don't even remember really saying that. Yeah.
So you're kind of used to, that's kind of just you then. Like, actually what I love about you is that Brian on air is kind of Brian who I know too.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not some sort of like, you know, somebody on the radio and then somebody else on the side. So I really appreciate that about you. And I was like thinking about all the things that we've done, and like I think I've known you for quite a few years.
Yeah, a long time.
And he used to do radio cut-ins at City Furniture.
Yeah.
And we would take pictures together.
And we'd come up with fun ideas, you know.
We did.
Let's hang Brian off the furniture.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And
Let's
then
put Brian in a freezer.
That's what Ryan remembered. He's like, you and Brian had a picture in the freezer. I'm like, we sure did.
We did.
So that was so fun. How long have you been in the radio business for?
Ooh, that's a good question. In Vernon, 28 years.
Oh, has it been?
Yeah. Longer than you've been alive.
Wow, yes, Ryan, you're right. I was just not even a thought process yet.
Exactly. I think I babysat you.
Yeah, you might have.
Actually. Before that, maybe like 35 years.
So was
total.
this something that you wanted to get into? Like, how did you get into it?
So I have a history degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and you use that well.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
useless BA.
Yeah.
And then I went to broadcasting school afterwards because so many people said, you ever thought about broadcasting? And I thought of a profession where I could act and goof around that nobody would see me. I would just be in a room where nobody would see me.
Yeah.
And
that was radio.
Yeah. And then it turns out you do have to do things outside of the room.
You think,
which was
Brian?
very hard for me.
Well, that's, I think, another...
Now it's okay.
Yeah, but you have to... It's an adjustment, right? It's probably a transition because radio is, like, you feel like you're just kind of talking to you and the mic. But I think what has led you into such an amazing, I guess, career path, but you're so much into the community. Like, I don't know, I really think highly of everything that you do. Like, you really give a lot of yourself to the Vernon community. And I don't know, I'm sure people tell you that, but I hope you know how much you do.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like, every time I see him, like, oh my God, there's Brian again. Like, there's Brian again. And probably with no hesitation, you're just out there, you're up in front of people. And for you saying that it was a hard thing for you to come out of, now I even appreciate it even more where you've come from. So
thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, the first time I ever had to do any emceeing or any kind of work like that, like public speaking, like didn't sleep for a week.
You were so scared.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so now let's fast forward the conversation and talk about like how amazing of a performer you are. I saw you perform. I can't remember what year it was. I think it might have been the first Rocky Horror Picture Show in Armstrong.
Okay, yeah.
Were you in that?
Yes, I was in that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember what year that was.
Yeah, neither can I. But I just...
I think 2013? 2014.
That's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Was that like your first performance?
No, I had done like a little like line or two in shows because that was not my thing. I was not one of those theater kids growing up.
Okay.
Were you a theater kid?
I was not
I know
a
I'm not supposed to ask
kid.
questions.
No, but that's fine. It's totally a conversation. No, I was not a theater kid. Okay, so what got you to be what inspired you to be a theater kid?
So, I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm older than 40.
No way.
I was in my 40s, and I would often see people perform.
Yep.
And my friend Melina had a studio.
Yes.
And I would go to these performances, and I'd be like, I could do that.
Oh, really?
And then she convinced me to do it.
Okay.
And I realized how horrible it was and how hard it was. And I was like, why did I ever think I could do this? But then you start small, and then Melina really took chances on me and said, I'm going to let you be the star of Rocky Horror Show.
And so that was your first star
That was
role.
the first big,
And that
big
was
part.
a big role.
Mm-hmm.
I actually remember sitting there like my jaw was to the floor. I was like, I cannot believe that you just did that. Like, I was completely in awe. And I think what I loved the most about that was like, you completely transformed yourself, which is what acting is.
Yeah.
But you were completely in character. And like, when you walked out there, like you commanded the stage. Aww. And it was amazing.
But that's the thing about acting versus like being yourself. Like I still, if I can hide behind a character, or if I'm like, if people aren't familiar with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's like full drag, drag makeup, and then high heels, and fishnets. If I can hide behind a character, it's much easier than if I'm myself. If I go out there as Brian and have to sing, oh my gosh,
it'd be so hard.
Shaking.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've got this whole costume on that like brings you alive, which I think is a great feeling as well. Like to be able to come into a character that maybe you never thought that you had in you, Right. And it just spews out.
And you can get away with stuff.
Yes, you did. And you have, which and it's so great. And I feel like when you're out on stage like that, you're just like, nobody can touch me. Like I am like, this is who I am. So it was incredible. And like, where did you learn how to sing? Like, did you always sing?
A little bit, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm more of like character singing. Okay. So yeah, I fake my way through it. But and I think you get better the more you do it.
Yeah. So how many big productions have you done with, because you've done a lot with Melina's company.
Yeah. Fiddler on the Roof. The last one that we did I was again like a major character was Cabaret.
Yes.
Which was just so good for me.
Was it so? Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry. I wish I could travel back in time and you could see it.
Was it Cabaret? No. When did you do the Cabaret?
2 years ago.
Oh, it was 2 years. Oh, yeah. I did miss that one. Yeah, darn. It was so good. It was your favorite?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So mad.
Oh, no.
No, it was good. It was just it was like, I got to be funny, and I got to be, it was like heartbreaking and also like so emotional.
Yeah.
Like not a dry eye in the house at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of those shows. Whereas the Rocky Horror Show is just stupidity, right?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. But what I appreciate about what Melina's doing also in Vernon is bringing that kind of, like, pushing the edge, you know, a little bit. And I love it that people can come and experience this. And, like, sometimes people walk away going, oh my gosh, like, what did I just witness, you know, or what did I just see? But I feel like sometimes people just close their eyes to a lot of things. Like, there's just so much more out there.
Yeah.
And I think with film and with acting, like, you feel like, yeah, I just loved watching all of the local people in the performance, really. It's pretty awesome. What was the last one you guys just did?
We did a show called This Is Me, which was...
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun, too, because I got to do all kinds. I got to do funny stuff and also serious stuff. And yeah. It was a compilation from different musicals.
Yeah, that was songs so good. Musicals. Anything else coming up?
We're doing Rocky again.
Oh, you are?
Maybe.
I love it.
If my hips can survive.
Okay, we were just talking about that before.
Yeah.
Before
arthritic hips. Yeah.
So
and
we were
wearing
talking
heels,
about
running in heels.
How we age, and like no one really like warns us, you know, about like when you do something and then like you wake up the next day and you're like, well, why am I sore? Like, yeah. You know, and what your body goes through to do something like Rocky Horror Picture Show, like you're exhausted. Yeah. And then you have to do physio.
Yeah, and your physiotherapist goes, what happened? I was wearing heels and running around. That's what happened.
Okay, was it hard to walk in heels?
Everyone asked me that. Wasn't that hard. It's kind of a wide, like I've never worn a lot of heels. Yes. As a short man, I would like to wear heels more often. It's empowering to be that tall. Yeah. But it's a wider base, I guess you would say.
So it's easier
it's
to
not
walk
like I'm walking
like
on a stick.
Stiletto.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good.
That's the word, stiletto.
Stiletto. Yeah. It's walking on sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, stilettos. That's
How are you in heels?
You know, I'm not very good.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I try to be, but now I just like to be in comfort, Brian. Yeah. You know, as we get a little older, I like to be comfort.
Yeah. Because of the bad hips.
It's the bad hips and the bad everything in the joints. But anyways, we just keep going.
As long as we look good. Because look at us.
Actually,
two better looking people? I don't think so.
One thing that Brian also did for me is you came on stage with me at my grand opening of Soul Studio. Brian, look at everything that you do. Like
that was so sweet that you invited me.
I did, and you came.
Do you know what the funny story is? You saw me in Rocky Horror Show. Yeah. And then you said, can you come to the opening and do a Zumba number with me to open it up? And I said, I can't do that. I can't learn that. And you said, I've seen you dance. You can dance. And I was just like, I cannot. And then we did the first rehearsal. Yep. And in your studio.
It was Bruno Mars.
And then you looked at me and you went, oh, you were right. You can't dance. Do you remember?
Yeah. But then you did do it.
I faked my way through it.
I think there was a video, there was a clip where I think I just looked at you and I was just howling. But I just loved that you came up. So that was also so special to me, for you just being like, sure, no problem. Like, yeah. So thank you for that. And thank you for dancing with me.
I was happy to support you because that's Soul Studio meant so much to this community and to me and so many people. So
yeah, it was so good. Wonderful. It was a great run, I think. Yeah. So it was so good. We did lots of fundraising too. Like you came on the bike.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I got you on a bike. You know, actually, I think I've gotten Brian to do a lot of things.
Pretty much, if you asked me to do anything, I'll do it. You'll do it. Do you have any furniture you need moving right now?
You might have done that too. You might have done that at the store too.
Yeah,
a couple times.
Yeah.
So that's good. So Brian, among everything that you've done, what was the favorite part that you played?
So many great parts. I think for fun, I would say Rocky Horror Show. Yeah. For the most impact was Cabaret. Like I said earlier, it was like I got to have a lot of fun, and then it was like so serious at the end, like not a dry eye in the house. And there was a part where I mooned the audience, and so I'll be in Safeway, and then I'll be and someone will come up to me and go, I saw too much of you.
Oh my gosh.
Or, I've seen your bum.
You're like,
and I'll
really?
be like, what?
You're like, it wasn't me. I was in character.
Yeah.
That wasn't my bum.
Yeah. What are you talking about here?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? Like, because you guys have shows like every night and sometimes a matinee and an evening?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Like, are you depleted after something like that?
Yeah, I think it's just like I don't get a lot of sleep anyway. And then like with a morning show, you're getting up at 4. So if you're doing a show and then you can't wind down afterwards, so you're not getting to bed till midnight. And then, so I try to nap.
Do you nap?
But you do get depleted.
Are you getting enough sleep, Brian, in your life?
Should we, instead of doing this, should I just have a nap?
Yeah, maybe. See? Does anybody have a blanket?
Nothing weird about that.
No, but I don't know. Like, do you ever feel like you don't have enough sleep?
Oh yeah, all the time.
But you've just learned to, I think you've just obviously learned how to just be with a few hours of sleep. Actually, Shanda Hill was talking about the hours of sleep that she does too. Like, it's
This is an ultra athlete. You're comparing me to an ultra athlete?
Well, but you know what? If she can do it, like, anybody can do it.
Right. Exactly.
But she said something like she sleeps like 3 hours or something like that. Mm-hmm. But like, to me, I always thought like your body does need like 6 to 7 hours of sleep, so they say, but you can function. So you've just learned how to function with less sleep.
Yeah, and I think so. And I think it's fine. Like you fake it. And it's all about like being on the radio with no sleep is acting.
Yes.
And the young lady that I work with, Rebecca at Beach Radio, we will often like text each other and it'll be like, I had 6 minutes of sleep. Well, I had 4 minutes of sleep. And then we'll come in and then we'll still do the show. Play. It's not a big deal.
That's right. Yeah. You hit play and then like you said, you're on. Like,
yeah. Afterwards you may collapse, but
yeah. So when you go on vacation, do you sleep a lot?
I try to.
Okay.
But I don't know. And as you get older, you can't sleep as much. Yeah.
And then you can't see.
And then, maybe this is just a men problem with the prostate, but you get up a lot to go pee in the night.
Yes. Yeah. So then you just don't sleep anyway.
You told me that we were going to dig deep today.
I love digging deep. It's so good.
How many times a night would you get up to pee?
So how many?
I don't know. It depends.
Just kidding.
Depends. I'm going to start doing a spreadsheet and I'll send it to you.
But you know what? Like, do people know that? That's why I feel like sometimes like we were kind of blocked on like what happens when we get older. Like even for women, like everything that we go through, it's like, how come nobody warned us that this was going to happen?
Why did mom not say anything to me?
At mid 40s, like what is going on? And then you get into the 50s.
Yeah. Which is where I am.
Yeah. But you're staying fit. By
looking at me. I try.
Well,
yeah.
I'm really proud of you for that.
I also like to eat.
You do like to eat?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
I'm more of a savory person. Okay. Probably pasta or a pasta, if you would prefer, whatever pronunciation you prefer.
Yes, okay, pasta. And do you cook?
Oh, yeah, I love to cook.
You love to cook?
I do all the cooking in the house.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Is it like therapy?
Yeah, I think so. If people like it, the food, but there's that pressure. Like if you have a big dinner, like a Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving, and there's a lot of people over, and there's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
But you get a high off of like, I'm in the weeds. No, I pulled it out.
Yes. Yes, and I've actually just recently started baking, and that's been my thing too. Like, 'cause I never used to be in the kitchen, but it's like, to me, it's kind of like therapy. But like, if I have to like make a bunch of things or a bunch of cookies, I'm like, oh my god, like, can I do it? Is it a challenge? And then in the end, when people say they love my cookies, it just makes me feel so good.
And isn't that a thrill though when you've challenged that?
Yes.
And you took that on and made it happen.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel like. As we go through life, that's kind of what happens. Like, look what you did with acting, right? Like, you probably never, ever thought that'd be something that you would have done. Right?
Never in a million years.
And it pushed you right out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in the works pushing you out of your comfort zone?
I don't think so. This. Yeah.
Is it?
We were supposed to do this a week ago, and I pretended to be sick, so I didn't have to. Actually,
the ironic thing about how things happen is like it actually worked out okay because we were working on a couple of different tweaks for the set.
Right.
And so
I love what you've done with that
set. Day, like it just that's when my belief in things happen for a reason really really is like the truth. So
okay.
even when you said to me, like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, like that's okay. Like every time something happens, I feel like it's meant to happen. So like things really don't faze me anymore. Like
that's great.
Yeah. Like I try to be like, well, that's okay. It happened. Like it's not meant to happen today. So whether or not I find out the reason why it doesn't happen or it does happen, I just feel like everything always happens for a reason.
So my 2 days of intense stomach upset was because you wanted to redo your set?
Yeah, maybe. I'm so sorry.
Thanks.
I cast that spell on you, right?
Yeah, well done. It worked.
I know, and you messaged me and you felt so bad. I'm like, no, that's
horrible.
okay. But you know what? You continue on and you move on, and that's what life is. I think you just have to like just figure it all out. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of what you do.
And you thanked me earlier for all the things that I've done for you. Yeah. What about you came on and did Dancing with the Stars with me?
Yeah, because you're my friend.
I had to convince you.
Yes.
And you were like, well, what is the commitment, Brian? I don't like dancing.
But I did it because I think like what you do for me, I do for you. Like I actually never would think twice because we've built up such a great friendship. And even though like we don't see each other all the time, to me, like these are amazing friends that have come into my life, you know, and we've done a lot. I think it's pretty cool. And you even said some really nice words for me on one of the videos that was done for me when I was recognized at the Okanagan College.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So that also was like really heartwarming. So thank you.
You're a leader in the community and a great role model for women, young girls growing up.
Thank you.
This is supposed to be about me. I'm sorry.
No, and that's okay.
I'm
you just putting in radio announcer. But you know what? That's okay because this really is about conversation and back and forth. And it's not really, there's no right way of doing this. I think when I took this project on, I'm literally flying by the seat of my pants. So as I was telling you earlier, like it's been a learning process, and something with me is I just want to get things right all the time. So I think this has been a really good project in my life because it's like, oh, okay, how can I tweak this to make this better? And how can I do that? But it just kind of fell into my lap. So, you know.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you are doing stuff like this, or when you're out in the public, or when you were like leading a Zumba class or whatever class you were leading, do you find that you create a character of yourself? I mean, there's a different Serena at home than there is Serena in public.
I've tried all my life not to, but I'm sure there's part of me that there is an on switch that is like a performer switch. Like,
I think you would have to, right?
You do have to. And as much as you try to be authentically who you are, I think the performer switch just gives you an energy. It's like a superpower.
Right.
Right? So it's like we are who we are, but like all of a sudden, like you get onto stage or you get in front of people or you get in front of a mic, it's like this like superpower that comes alive.
It's a greater version of yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it's a version of myself that is hidden, but once the lights are on, it's a version of myself that maybe wants to be seen.
Right. I like it.
Yeah, that just came out of my mouth.
I think we should close on that.
Sometimes I surprise myself.
I keep breaking the fourth wall here. We're not supposed to do that.
It doesn't matter.
No, we're not.
Brian, I want to talk about you on radio, and I remember talking to Carly Fittis.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
yes.
and she was like, Brian is like the only guy who's been on the radio for so long. But I actually we were saying that as a huge compliment. I love listening to you, Brian. Like, I don't know, like, for all these years, like, you have been a staple on the radio station. I think one and only, really, if you think back.
For a
long time. So another question that just came to mind is what kind of advice, if someone was going into broadcasting, what kind of advice would you want to give somebody, especially this day and age where there's a lot of different competitions, there's podcasting.
It's changed so much.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, I look at, like, when I got into broadcasting, there was, radio stations were 24 hours a day. So you could start overnight and kind of learn when no one's listening.
Yeah.
And now you're just thrust right into it.
Yeah.
And you're doing a lot of different crafts, but I think just be yourself.
Yeah.
Get involved in the community.
Yep.
I think that's one thing that we still have in radio is that it's local and it's getting involved in the community. and be yourself. You know, and
Yeah.
let that personality shine. Because what else is there?
And
there's a lot of places to get music.
Yeah.
If you have good conversation and.
Yeah, and you're always talking about community stuff too, and I think that's why I appreciate, like, you know, listening to the radio. It's like, oh, like this is happening now, and this is happening now. Like, how can we be more involved in the community? And a lot of people, you know, with everything going on, there's so much out there that a lot of people forget about community. They think that you source things from, you know, outside, or you do things from anywhere else, but community is really what is the heart of a city.
Exactly.
You know, so I think that's
what else
super
do we
important.
have?
Yeah. And I think being yourself is the most important, and don't be afraid to, like, be yourself, right? A lot of people have a struggle with it, and that's why I appreciate who you are on air and who you are as a person, because, like, it's not completely two different people. So I think maybe that's why we're drawn to you as well. And you've been such a staple in the radio industry as well.
Yeah,
That's so
can't get rid of me.
No, we can't get rid of you. Did you think you were going to be an announcer, actually? Was that what you went into? You did say that somebody was saying...
I was originally going to go... I wanted to write for a magazine.
Oh,
because
you
I didn't want
did?
the public eye or anything. And then I went to... I finished my history degree, and I went to journalism school for like a hot second. And I had a teacher there say... it was like this guy could see into the future. He goes... There's not going to be any newspapers. There's not going to be any magazines. People are going to have devices.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to be reading magazines off a device. There's going to be like one magazine for the whole world. Like he was obviously wrong about that, but we all have devices now. And
yeah. But then, like, look at all the time in between that you could have been doing something, right?
But I'm glad I did. Yes. I'm glad I dropped out of school.
And did what you wanted to do.
Went into broadcasting school, yeah.
Well, you kind of followed a little fire inside you, right? Like,
I
which
thought that would be fun.
Yeah.
More fun
than just writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. And one of my final questions is, what is the most funniest moment, either on radio, in theater, if you were willing to share, that has happened to you? Or a couple stories?
Maybe like I can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
But I'm better at remembering things now, but I was so nervous at earlier performances, and one of the biggest roles I ever had earlier was, the Major General role in Pirates of Penzance.
Yep.
So it's a very long song, a lot of lyrics. I am the very model of a modern Major General. That one. And it was like not the first performance, but I was so nervous. It was like the third or fourth performance. And I got up there and the band is playing, dun 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 dun. The audience is waiting for me.
Oh my gosh! Nothing. What's going?
Couldn't remember anything. And then there's a whole cast of people behind me. They're going, "Come on,
Brian, you can do it."
And they're like trying to feed me lines.
Right.
I am the very model of a modern Major General. I was like, and I eventually did, but I don't know. It seemed like an hour.
It seemed like forever.
It was probably about 40 seconds though, but how painful for the audience.
No, they were probably
all like going, oh no.
Oh, they're feeling bad for you.
Why do we have to come this night?
Oh my gosh, but I think that's a great thing for you to even show people, because like we are all human. Like this is the other thing too, like whether we're acting or like that's like for me, doing Zumba and forgetting my moves. Like, and that's what actually people have told me the most that they loved about my classes.
Because they're a human being. Right.
So when you're at a performance and you see somebody like, it's like, just remember that they're only human, like, and just give them that moment to get themselves back going. Like, I think a lot of people don't really think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just all learning.
But I got off stage after that and I said, that's it, I'm never doing this again.
And then you signed up for the next show.
Yeah.
And then you're on and on and on.
Yeah.
See, you forget and you just keep going. I think it's because you're feeling like a passion inside of you too that gives you that feeling.
I think so. I come alive when I'm doing stage stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's great about my job, because it's very much the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, see, there you go. Okay, one final question. Brian, what feeds your soul?
Just what you said.
Okay.
And I think giving back to community.
Yep.
I never would have thought that, but you bring it up. We do a lot, and I think I need that. I need to give back. I'm not trying to make myself to be like altruistic or whatever. But I do love giving back, and I do think it's very important.
Yeah.
And I also just being on stage, come alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that alive feeling. I want more people to have that feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
And it makes me so nervous and I get so scared.
Yeah.
But when I think about it afterwards, I'm just like, that was the best.
And you're like, I just did that.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, that is just the coolest thing. That is amazing. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Brian.
This has made me alive.
Has it?
Do we finish with dancing?
No, we actually finished with a different soul second.
Oh, okay.
Which is to calm our energies.
Okay, that's probably good for me.
I know. We kind of have the same personality a little bit. So if you want, you can close your eyes. If not, but we're going to end with just one single deep breath. So we're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And exhale however you like. And that's how I end my podcast, because it's just reminding us to just be in the present every single moment, because I think life passes us by way too quickly and we forget about being and living in the now. So every time you forget and you're feeling flustered, take a moment and take a deep breath. And do it with someone, because it actually feels amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching Feed Your Soul episode number 7. It's been such an honor to have my friend, my performer, the radio guy, Brian Martin. Thank you.
Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome.
This fed my soul.
Yay, it fed mine too. They all feed my soul. Yee, that's a wrap.